Welcome to Warehouse Automation Matters. I'm your host, Mary Hart, and I'm here with David Welsh of Radial to talk about scaling warehouse automation across multiple sites and what it takes to drive consistency, workforce adoption, and results. Welcome to the show, David.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mary.
Can you give our listeners a quick overview of Radial's fulfillment operations and your role there as VP of Fulfillment Services Delivery?
Sure. Here at Radio, we do third-party logistics, fulfillment, distribution services, anything logistics and operations for retailers, clients, branded retailers, in several different channels and verticals. So we do transportation, fulfillment. We do B2B and B2C, direct-to-consumer order fulfillment.
So you've now completed 2 implementations with Locus Robotics. Can you take us back to the beginning? What originally prompted Radial to explore warehouse automation, and what did you hope to achieve with that first deployment?
As an organization, we think quality and service are key differentiators of what we provide as a service provider. And with automation, we first look for quality, that increased quality, pick quality, order tracking, visibility, and getting first pass, first quality through the door on your first attempt is key for us. And we thought automation was the right play there. So naturally, Locus Robotics assisting with the pick functionality and inbound functionality, replenishment put away, those things, in enhancing that quality in each one of those functions and steps was very attractive for us. So that was our first. And then service being, could we get things quicker out the door? Could we delight customers and clients more predictable, more consistently? And so that's where we were trying to find automation that fit both in scale and enhancement of service. And Locus fit into that success criteria for us very well.
What kind of impact did you see, either operationally or in terms of the worker experience, after that first wave of Locus robots came online?
Yeah, one of the first things that really dawned on us was the graphical user interface that the operators and associates experience. It's very intuitive, very easy to use. Training and understanding, a traditional picker may take days and weeks to train. This became very intuitive, and we were down to minutes and hours to train and onboard associates effectively at the same productivity and quality expectations we would have had in a traditional training ramp. So that was the most evident and clear differentiator that I saw immediately. And we continue to see that each wave of implementation that we see, that the learning curve, the adoption, and the training have all been significantly improved.
Looking back, were there any surprises during the first rollout or anything that changed how Radial approached the second implementation?
I think the biggest call out for us was understanding the amount of bots we need, the capabilities and functionality we wanted to solve problems with, and fully leveraging that. So I know in our second and eventually in our third implementation, we're using those learnings to redesign how many bots we want, what functions we want them to service, and what our expectations are from that full suite. And in turn, what are we going to market with when we sell our services and include this capability? We want to make sure we understand that as well, because it does have a lot more benefit than we originally intended.
Perfect. So you did mention that you're in the middle of a second implementation now. Is what's different about this site or this approach compared to the first, besides what you just referenced?
Yeah, so we're going to do a full operational integration. So I think in the first one we did outbound and inbound. This one will include replenishment put away functionality as well as returns put away. And it's the first time we've added those functionality into a full scale solution. So we are in design, we have multiple induction points, multiple drop off points for all of the different functions, and then our operators turn into zone managers instead of pickers or put away associates. We're now fully functional. One person can operate 4 different functions as a result, and we're really excited about that.
So what kind of KPIs or improvements are you already starting to see besides the warehouse associates from the second deployment?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, the training ramp is we're seeing that consistently from first implementation to second. Productivity is number two in that we're seeing the productivity increase. I think by the second day we were beating our previous productivity marks versus a manual cart pick, and it's only scaling and getting better from there. Visibility, workflow management, and labor planning also are being rolled out with this implementation. Locus actually has a labor planning module that we're leveraging that's helping us do the multifunctional and cross-functional labor planning. So it's blending of multiple functions and rates to make us more effective overall in the entire site. And then scale, we're seeing that we can produce more units at a higher quality, and that's allowing us to hit numbers that we haven't really seen before.
That's great. That's what we want to hear. I've heard that another large installation is coming next year. What does scaling
Mhm.
automation across multiple facilities look like at Radial?
Yeah, this one is exciting as well. We've stayed in that apparel vertical, and this third implementation will be cosmetics and beauty. So we're really excited about that. The form factor is smaller. We get more slots on the tote array and things. But the play for that implementation is increased capacity specifically. We are essentially 2xing that operation once the implementation goes live for peak capacity. And then our resting heart rate non peak will be more predictable and standard, as well as they have the micro peaks throughout the year. So really looking forward to that. I think it's a wonderful fit and solution for that with the same success we've seen in the previous implementations.
So, how are you ensuring consistency while still tailoring automation to the needs of each warehouse?
Yeah, I think there are key pillars that we can replicate. So whether it's training and onboarding, quality, and then time to serve, that service element, those are pretty fundamental in the solution. They're predictable and they're scalable. So we replicate, or we look to replicate those in any solution. Automation isn't exclusive for our service, but when we do see opportunities in size, scale, channel, fit, product type, those sorts of things, automation becomes part of the conversation, and we look to replicate the same fundamentals in that new solution or new opportunity as we look across the market, or even internal to what we're currently operating.
What kind of collaboration does it take between your internal team and partners like Locus to make these rollouts successful?
Yeah, it's a huge and key point. With not only we do have an element of outsourced technology as well. So there are project managers on our side, on the tech side, and then on the Locus side, and they're all working in concert throughout each implementation. I think that's key. Those relationships, those moments of engagement and collaboration, are really what make us successful. Even like as recently as this week, I was on site at our most recent implementation and working with the Locus team and the Lodua team, which is our outsourced tech, and the Radial teams in concert on solving, hey, do we want to move this waypoint to this location? Can we queue up here differently? We were already optimizing the footprint, and that collaboration is key. And I think where you start isn't where you want to end, and we enjoy the relationship and the journey traveled together.
So, let's talk about your workforce a little bit more. How have employees responded to working alongside the Locus robots?
I think this one is really key in our second implementation, the most recent one. We have a very large Haitian Creole population, and the multilingual language capability in your profile setup is instrumental to being successful in this site. It's in Brownsburg, Indiana, and that workforce is loving the automation, and because it's tailored to their individual needs in both language and preference, we're seeing early adoption, a faster buy-in, more engagement from everyone, and it seems to be unlocking some potential that was always there in our workforce, and we just didn't have the solution for it.
You talked about training and how that time has shortened drastically. Have you noticed any changes in retention or worker satisfaction, minus the multi language capability, as a result of automation?
Yeah, I think retention is still something we're monitoring closely. I do anticipate improvements in retention, but employee and associate satisfaction, absolutely. Especially when we roll out the multifunction, both outbound, inbound, replenishment, and returns put away. I think there's some satisfaction that we're still to realize there. But the user interface is top notch. The arrow proofing with the color schemes and the slotting dynamics and everything seem to be really resonating with the team. It's really helped us connect with those operators, plus the visibility in the dashboards. Associates can see real time what their quality and productivity levels are. In many views, it's benchmarked against their peers. And in an engaged workforce, that visibility does mean something to them, whether it's in the break room with bragging rights or just a personal pride thing. Associates really resonate with that.
I've seen that employees and workforce can really resonate with that gamification aspect. Do you have
Yeah.
anything like a end of the week or end of the month, um, chart about how they're doing that they can kind of like brag about to each other? Mm.
Yeah, so we share productivity with all the associates. We do have boards that are visible so everyone can see it. We track it in both daily and weekly increments, and then we do have programs that reward top performers, most improved, highest quality, those types of things. So those programs, are pretty standard across our network. But the Locus dashboard and reporting makes it more like you see it on the bot reflected in some capacity, and then you see it in all the reporting and dashboarding that which is plastered across the site.
As you continue to expand automation, what are some key lessons you've learned that other fulfillment leaders might benefit?
The labor planning piece, like matching machine uptime with labor, is a key component. So understanding that units per labor hour isn't the same as a unit per machine hour. So your bot utilization is key. So I would really focus on that pre-planning and execution and post-planning learning or post-event learning and incorporate that into lessons learned, your next planning cycle or event for next peak period or just next horizon planning session. That would be the biggest call out I have is learn that, understand the difference and lean into it.
So finally, what excites you most about the future of fulfillment at Radial as you continue growing your automation footprint?
Yeah, I think Radial has a very unique capability. We're here to service clients and help them thrive. And that's what excites me is we help our customers, clients delight their customers. We're able to let them realize their potential as an organization, whether they're a retailer in apparel and cosmetic and beauty, or if they're in a product, that solves some problem for someone, whether it's lawn care or solar panels. We're there to help them reach their potential, and that's what excites me. Is Radial is instrumental in the ecosystem of our clients, and in many cases, we're almost the entire supply chain from end to end, from manufacturing all the way to customer order fulfilled and the B2B wholesale and retail components of the supply chain. So we're integral part, and in many instances, we're fully integrated into the ecosystem, the planning cycles and such, and we'll continue to do that. I think the future is bright for Radial. Automation will have a part to play in our future and our strategy. So I think there's always in our growing landscape, ecom as a business is growing significantly year on year. And we're here to stay and we're here to grow and we're here to automate.
Thank you. And thanks, David, for joining me on the show. It was a pleasure having you on the show today.